losers. Inspire.
There we go. All right, now that we're live, welcome back to another Wisdom Wednesday discussion. I am Nspired, your guide, generating, uplifting, inspiring, developing, and empowering you to live inspired every day, forever, because that's life. Today, we're going deep within ourselves to talk about the inner authority and how we can begin to embody sovereignty within ourselves and in our life as a whole. Let's begin with our affirmation as we do always. Today's affirmation is, I am the sacred bridge between the unseen and the real. I'm a real boy, I feel like Pinocchio, but I am the sacred bridge between the unseen and the real. The intent is to strengthen spiritual alignment by reclaiming our inner authority, trusting our intuitive voice as our divine guidance. Why? Because the outcome is we walk away with a heightened discernment, able to tell the difference between what's real and what's fake. We're real, so we want to be empowered decision makers and embody our spiritual sovereignty. To be sovereign, to be one, to be us, to be aligned, mind, body. So let's start off with talking about the real and the fake, the false versus the real, the false throne versus our inner sovereignty. And we're moving from seeking approval to sitting on that throne like the kings and queens that we are. There's one problem, one big problem. We've been conditioned to already think a certain way. And it's not within ourselves. It's not moving in a sovereign manner. We have been conditioned to search outside of ourselves for answers instead of being able to go within ourselves as we have been prescribed to, as we have been told, commanded. So as always with our discussions, we are going to expound on this by going through various different doctrines and texts so that we can see how universally it all aligns with us being who we need to be, not necessarily being outside of ourselves as we have been conditioned to be in society, to be of the world and not in it. We're actually going to define what that world is that we need to be in, because it is within ourselves. And so through society, through honestly, the things we've been used to, the experts, the traditions, our family, the religions, we have been designed to go seek validation instead of being able to understand you already validated. It's in you, not on you. So why are we going outside of ourselves seeking validation from others when it's already been provided? Reminds me of the diamond in the rough. When it's in the rough, you can't see it. You have to polish that off in order to realize it was there the whole time. Though society may have created the smoke screen or the dirt so that we aren't able to see it, once we polish ourselves off, we will shine nonetheless. So instead of ignoring this sacred knowledge that we have within, which disempowers us, we're going to tap back in. It's time to tap back into our divine connection. And so the guiding question that we have for this discussion is, where have you handed your scepter to others, seeking permission, validation, or even rescue? Imagine you are the king or queen and you decide to give that scepter to somebody else. And then you're seeking permission from them, validation from them, rescue from them. Historically, we have actually seen this. In history, there are stories of this where you have had powerful kings and queens on the throne who have empowered others. And so they sought validation from someone else. So it's like a puppet master. Yes, you're on the throne, you're ruling, but you're getting your direction from somebody else. You aren't making the decisions. You have a confidant, a group of trusted advisors. And we have seen time and time again how those trusted advisors can mislead you and sway you to do their bidding. And so we are on the throne And we have been made to trust in advisors that are outside of ourselves. And they're everywhere. Whether they're on social media, whether it's the news, we're already always seeking some type of confirmation, some information from somebody else to validate what we're supposed to be doing. Well, I heard this, so that's why I did it. Person said do it like that. This person said do it like this. And it never truly fits your life. So what we end up doing is fitting ourselves into something that wasn't designed for us. That's why it's uncomfortable. That's why our life seems so uncomfortable, because it's not fully ours. There are aspects of it that are yours, but you didn't actually create it. So until you design your life, until you are living in your home, until you are wearing your clothes, until it's your shoes on your feet, it's always going to be uncomfortable. So wherever you handed that scepter to others and have sought permission to do something, have sought for someone else or something else to validate you or to rescue you, the truth be told, what they tell us is that truth is what you're told. So this leads us to believe that authority lives outside of ourselves. They tell you that you have to go seek for this. We got to get these jobs. We have to get accreditations. We have to get degrees. You have to get certifications. You have to get a status in order to be somebody. But Spirit said, truth is what you know, which lets you know that your spirit is sitting on the throne. It's already in here. So it's what maybe the issue is, we don't trust in what we know. So that would cause me to go outside to somebody else. Because if I don't trust myself, then that is when I get misled. Because then someone else can tell me something totally different. And then how many times do we come back and say, I should have listened to myself. I should have followed my gut. So why aren't we doing that? Life principle that we have to back this up is your sovereignty does not come from permission. It comes from our presence. So it's not that anybody gave you permission to do anything. It is your presence, how you show up. Who are you on that daily basis? Nobody's permitting you to do anything. And when you really think about it, you got as far as you did. You've been going this long and you've had to make decisions yourself. It's only when you doubt or you have fear or uncertainty associated with that we give up our authority. And that's how we get into trouble. We got to trust our intuition, because your intuition is the first language of the divine. And this is why I'm always saying, a lot of times I'm talking, I say that I'm a guide generating, uplifting, inspiring, developing, and empowering. But I'm not putting anything in you. I'm hoping to bring out of us what's already there, to remind you that this isn't a possibility, but a probability. That the lie was that you can't live inspired every day. So we want to embrace that. And this is how we begin to turn that every day into our forever story, where we are living inspired every day forever. Yet we have to understand, we got to tap in to what is in us. So the anchor that we have is going to come from 1 John chapter 2, verse 27. It says, but the anointing which ye have received of him abideth in you. But the anointing which ye have received of him abideth in you. And ye need not that any man teach you. That's why I say I'm not here to teach you. Whether you show up, whether you want to listen, whether you want to take it, that's on you. I am just here with the empowerment to put the light, to shine the light and say, hey, I don't know if you knew this, but you're royal. Maybe you had forgotten it sometime. You are divine. You have the power within you. Let's take the power back. Let's turn the lights back on. Yet it tells you that the anointing which you have received is already in you. And you don't need anybody to teach you. But as the same anointing teacheth you all things, that is repeat it so much, this all things. It never picks and chooses that only that thing, only this race, this sex, this gender, this group, all things, and is truth. But as the same anointing teacheth you of all things and is truth, and is no lie, even as it hath taught you, ye shall abide in him. And there's a reason why I go with the scriptures and the teachings that I do from all over, but especially biblically, to go back to what would be one of the oldest forms, where you hear me saying, ye abideth ye. There's a reason for that, because all these new different translations, we don't need that. But if you have it, again, because it says you don't need an intermediary, the Holy Spirit speaks directly to you, directly through you. It is your inner knowing, lest ye know not. You don't know that it's in you? Do you not know that it speaks directly through you? Yet, this isn't to discourage you, because still, you can have your teachers, you can have your guides, you can have your schools, whatever way you choose to learn it. But let the cost of your tuition never be your discernment. Sit under who you want to sit under, learn from who you want to learn from, go to whatever schools you want to go to. Don't let the cost be your discernment. Your knowing is sacred, not outsource your sovereignty. So one thing we need to stop doing as much as we can is saying, I don't know. Yes, you do. And the moment that you actually stop saying that, stop saying it, and allow it to come, you're going to see we're blocking ourselves with our disbelief. They say, I don't know, but this person does. Well, how do they know? Because they went to school for 20 years? Trust me, if you sat in front of the TV and saw the same thing for 20 years and called that learning, this is what we're doing. We're sitting in schools under the same type of guidance. That's why you can see it passed down, the same thought patterns. The same thought patterns. It's only when we decide to break from that we get new, refreshed software. Otherwise, we'll still be prejudiced, sexist, racist. And in a lot of ways, we still see that. Yet the pushback is because it's like, that don't even make sense anymore. Yet at one time it did. And at one time that was passed down and passed down and passed down. Lie. That this was inferior to that. And how do you break from that? Someone began to trust their inner knowing and said, this ain't right. I was called upon to do something different. And it's not one person in particular that's just more special than the other. That you got to attune those antennas in order to get reception. Otherwise, you might just be getting static and then saying, well, I don't know. And so we want to attune our antennas. So again, you don't need anybody. Yet when we hear that, but I know, I've been there. Yet I can't explain to you the things that I've begun to learn after breaking free from that. I call them downloads. The downloads that you get when you really tap in and you're like, wait a minute. That little whisper of a voice that we put way back here starts to get louder and louder. And you start to see what I was pushing away was my sovereignty. I was giving up my ownership. I gave that away so that somebody else can have it. And now they can lead and direct me. And that's where the power comes from. Because look at all my followers. Why are they following you? Why are we following them? When you begin to take lead within yourself, a sovereign nation doesn't follow anybody. It sets its own rules and standards. And we were put here to be sovereign, to set our rules for our life. Imagine somebody walking in your house and changing your thermostat to what they wanted it to be. You'll be uncomfortable. It's too hot in here. I don't like this. And they say, well, this is what you need. And now you just accept that. We are allowing people to apply conditions on our life. And then we wonder a lot of times why we receive the things that we receive. We have the power to change it all, lest we be still. And as we've talked this month, we've known the recurrence of this scripture, be still and know. And we go back and it says, you have received it. It abides in you, lest ye not know. So if we don't know, how can we know? Be still. So we're already seeing, oh, these are the instructions that we follow. If I'm lost, how can I find myself? It's already in me, but I don't know that. So how can I find that out? Let me be still. Because if I be still and know that I am God, and that's a key. That is a key. This is why we use the scriptures we use. This is why we use the teachings that we use, because it all backs it up. And this is how you know it's truth. If I can go and over here, then how could it not be true? Because what we're seeing is when we get news, the moment you go somewhere else, it changes. It's not real. All of a sudden, it's a lie. You said this person was inferior. Then I went over here and I saw them do something. I said, damn, how can they be inferior if they able to do that? Now it changes your whole world. Now you have to redesign everything that you ever thought, because you had that superiority complex that one was better than the other and I can do this and you can't. Then you saw them do it and you said, wait a minute, how? That's not supposed, wait. And it reminds me today when I was talking to my guys and I asked them about the scientific method. And he looked at me. He's like, no, I don't know that. And I said, what? And he's like, oh, well, they're calling it the scientific process. And I said, well, process, method. But then when I asked him, I said, so what's the first step? He said, question. And I said, what? He said, question. I said, the first step is to observe. And then we had to start breaking down the higher and the lower, the greater than and the lesser than. There is knowledge that is greater than, hence we don't say better. It's greater than, so it means it already encompasses the lesser. But the lesser doesn't encompass the greater. What am I talking about? To observe something, it's automatically going to create questions. Yet when I asked him, I said, if you question something, did that mean you observed it? He said, no. This is how we know it's the higher. Yet if you take that out, observation, we change the words and we take that away. And now you think that the first step is to question. You end up being stuck in that loop because you question everything, but you don't observe. And that is very, very important. That's key, to observe, just to see. This reminds me of our grandparents who could just sit out and just observe things. They just sit on and they seeing everything. We don't see nothing because we too busy questioning everything. Well, why that? So you go from a question to a conclusion because that you don't observe. And so if we're not seeing it in its correct light, it's going to be distorted. So if you don't know that it's be still and know that I am God, you're going to say he is. And it doesn't refer to these terms. We get misled because someone is preaching to me. Someone is telling me what it is, what I should do, instead of me knowing what it is, what I should do. And it's right here for us to see, right here for us to get. And we just have to admit that we didn't go get it. I'll be the first one to admit that I didn't go get it. I sat around listening and letting everybody tell me what was in this and what that and what that said. And then I read a book and it was like, wait, it did not say that. But by the time you turn around and try to question that person, like, hey, it didn't say, they gone. Now you're stuck questioning. You're stuck reeling, falling, trying to pick up the pieces from where you were misled. So we're going to have to pick up the pieces anyway. Then let's just move all of that out the way so that we can really be attuned and focus on what we need to be focused on. The stillness is the throne room where we sit and allow that spiritual authority to come through. That sovereignty begins in silence. When do we ever get silence? How many of us are afraid of silence? How many of us are afraid to be still? So let's talk about the seat of our conscious sovereignty. And let's go around and see if we can find anywhere else that supports this. So this is where we anchor in. So our anchor concept, the throne is not a chair, but a state of being. A consciousness seated in clarity, courage, and centeredness. It's a state of being, not a chair. We have even been replaced with that in our mind. They showed you physical kings and queens sitting on a throne. So we now associate thrones to a chair, to a palace, to a kingdom somewhere. And if I ain't in the castle and I'm not a king or a queen, no, that's not true. That's just the outward physical presentation to get you to believe more in that than in you. So if this is a state of being, we should be able to see this. So in Taoism, it says, the Jade Emperor rules not by force, but by harmony. Sitting on the throne is symbolic to aligning with the Tao, governing with wisdom and balance. The Jade Emperor. So one who knows others is wise. One who knows himself is enlightened. How many of us are wise in others? We can tell you everything about a person. Oh, this why that person doing this. Oh, why that person doing that. All the celebrities, their whole life and where they came from and how they made it to stardom, and you online arguing about them, but you know nothing and believe nothing about yourself. It's almost as if we want to replace us with them. I want to be them and not myself. And what happens when you no longer want to be yourself? What happens when you give up your sovereignty? Do we become enslaved? And what are we then enslaved to? In Hinduism, Brahma's lotus throne arises from cosmic waters. Yet that lotus, it sits in mud. So to sit and to rise above your lower tendencies, our misunderstandings, our disbelief, our fears, our anger, and we begin to govern ourselves with spiritual vision. I'm led by the Spirit. You're sitting down, you had a vision of something, and it doesn't even exist anywhere else. Are you going to believe in that? Or are you going to doubt it? No, I can't do that. No, I can't. Not me. I'm not strong enough. I don't have the money. I don't have the capability. I don't have a degree. I don't have all of these things. But that vision came to you. It didn't come to nobody else. Yet we'll run out and try to get validation from somebody else that this vision is worth it. Tell it to everybody so they can diminish it. And then somebody going to take your vision and run with it. And you're going to say, that's mine. It was, but you gave it away out of disbelief. You are what your deep driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. As your desire is, so is your will. What will you desire? In Buddhism, the Buddha does not claim a throne, but rather attains it. Does that not go back to the throne is within us? And you attains it by becoming that vessel of truth. Dharmakaya. The throne sits beyond the illusion that we are not, that you are incapable, unworthy, too much, not enough. Whatever it is that pervades your mind and perverts your existence. So it says, be a lamp unto yourself. Hold fast to the truth as refuge. Be a lamp, a light unto yourself. Hold fast to truth as refuge. The lies that they tell us is outside of us. We must go outside. It says that the truth is what you're told, which means that the authority lives outside of us. What authority? How did they get that authority in the first place? Who told you you had a boss? How are they your boss? Are they capable of leading themselves? Who put them in charge of you? Yes, you may be at the workplace, but think about it. We use this term, the boss of who? And a lot of times, the person you call boss, you do the job better than they do, more than they do. You're more capable than they are. Yet you're a subordinate to an incompetent leader. And how does that make you feel? Guarantee you hate going to that place every day, dealing with that. I got to listen to somebody who I know I should be in that position. And the only reason we're not in that position is because we're stuck in the position of servitude. We're stuck under them. And we're not strong enough in that moment yet to leave. But you will be. Whether it's a boss at your job, the boss in your relationship, the boss in your family. Be the lamp unto yourself. You're finding that courage. You're finding that clarity, that centeredness that you need to be your own boss, to be the leader, to lead your life. I just got a new dog. She's a puppy, and I'm learning already. I don't lead her, and she don't lead me. When we have those moments, that's when it's complicated, especially anybody who's ever had any type, a dog, a cat, you got any animal you have to train, a child you have to rear and grow. You understand that. As long as I'm trying to combat you, trying to rule you, we're going to have problems. We're going to keep butting heads. It's only when I allow you to do you and then I do me that we coexist. So when we go on a walk, she goes a little bit where she want to go. I go a little bit where I want to go. When I'm trying to pull her this way, now she's stubborn. She don't want to go. Now she want to pull me this way. No, now we're fighting back and forth. Same thing in our lives. It's not until you begin to learn. Oh, so, all right, this is what I want to do. So this is how I'm going to have to do it. And if I am going to bring other things in my life, there must be a coexistence. Meaning I can't seek to rule that thing. I have to rule myself first. Do I even know why I'm trying to do the things that I'm trying to do, especially when it comes to training my dog or rearing my child? Why is it that I want to force my child to do this? No, go do this, go work this job, go to this school, study this. Why? Because that's going to make you money. That's going to make you have a happy life. I don't determine that, especially if I have not gotten to the point where I've made my life happy, where I found joy in my life. How am I going to show you to find joy? I'm just going to tell you to try and avoid the holes that I fell in. And that's what's going to cause you to fall in the holes that I fell in. Now we both in the hole. Hoping somebody else going to come get us out. Our life principle is your sovereignty does not come from permission. It comes from your presence. You don't need permission to be you. Be you and let them boo-hoo. We need to have a rebirth of our inner authority. So the way we're going to do that is by following that divine guidance. Understanding your inner authority as the divine guidance, not the outside authority. You are not a follower. You may follow others on social media. That's not what we're talking about. You're not a follower. You weren't put here to follow behind what everybody else is doing. Now we all lost. I hope somebody find us. Well, how did we get in here? Because I walked behind you and the door closed. You said, don't let the door. Now we both stuck in here. Hope somebody else come. They come and do the same thing. Don't let the door. You're not a follower. You're a vessel for divine leadership. Leaders, you who thought, no, not me. Yes, you're probably the perfect leader. The one who said, oh, no, it couldn't be. Maybe you just haven't found your style. Maybe you haven't found your niche. Maybe you haven't found your calling, but it's you. It's in you. Your inner authority is the wisdom that God planted in you like a seed before you was born, because you put the seed in the soil before it sprouts. The thing is, imagine this as a planter. Let's put ourselves in the shoes. We're all farmers. We're all planters, and we're going to grow some flowers, and we got some seeds. We already know what this seed is. We already know what this is. When I plant this in the ground, cucumber, roses, basil, dandelion, whatever. We know what the seed is. In this way, we have a relation to God. Because God, before you were born, knew what you was going to be. Now imagine if you planted that seed and the rose tried to be a dandelion. You plant the seed in the ground, in the soil, especially when the soil is proper, and that can grow to what it needs to be. So it's not the seed that's the issue. It's not the seed that was planted in you that's the issue. Maybe it's the soil that you are currently planted in. The beauty, we can uproot that and put you in some better soil. That's more conditioned for you to grow how you need to grow. Because we need to understand that not everything is going to grow in the same season, in the same soil, in the same way. Yet we're all trying to plant it all in the same. No, that is going to take the nutrients from that. You need to get it out of the way and separated. You got to keep them separated. We ain't all supposed to be in the same soil. We ain't supposed to be following each other. It's not the seed that's the issue. So your inner authority was planted in you before your birth. You got to tap back in. How do you know? Remember we said earlier, follow who you want to follow. Learn under who you want to learn under. Go to whatever schools you want to go to. Do what you want to do. Just don't let it cost you your discernment, because your discernment is your spiritual maturity in motion. Your discernment is what's going to lead you and not mislead you. It's only when we give up our discernment or we go against that we like punch in the air. I'm tired of this. I knew I should have. Dang, something was telling me. We ain't ever stopped and said, wait, what's the something? We all saying it. Something told me not to do it. So what was the something that told you to do it? And so as we begin to understand our discernment, we know not to look at it like this. So I listened and I went this time and something told me not to do it. So then the something that tells me not to do it, I'm just going to continue to listen to that. That's not how it works, because your discernment may tell you not to do this thing today, but it tell you to do that thing tomorrow. Your discernment is not a no, yet it's not a yes. It's when you go against it that you know. And it's when you that you know. You go against it, you like, no. You go with it, you like, yes. Going against our discernment, what gets us in a lot of the dirt, the manure that we in now. So we're going to get a quote to back this up. And it comes from a real reputable person in our history. He's a smart guy. He's a scientist. We all look to this man. We're all taught about him. Albert Einstein. Dude who got a picture like this. I love that picture because it just shows don't take this seriously. And we have to be able to laugh in life. But Albert Einstein told us, his quote says, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift. Man that says E equals MC squared and he created all this and then we followed it. However you feel about him, that is your own. But in order for him to get to where he got to, he had to understand and listen to his intuition and be able to discern the difference. And he said, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, which reminds us when you reclaim this gift, all that external noise, it fades and it fades into reverence. All of a sudden it get real quiet in here. It was loud before, then it get real quiet. You had all them people around you. Now you by yourself. I'm here to tell you, like, that's supposed to happen. But again, how many of us are afraid to be still and be silent? I wanted to be around everybody. I wanted to be liked by everybody. I wanted to be so popular. For what? It's too loud. You can't hear. So then when everybody started going away, why are you doing this to me? I don't know. And then I started to realize, boy, I'm bipolar, ain't I? Because when you get this way, you like, I wish that I could have people around me. Then you get around people and you be like, I don't want nobody around me. And you start to understand why you got to travel solo. Sometimes, not all the time, but you have to be comfortable in yourself, because without yourself, you're just like everybody else. And who or what is everybody else? When you reclaim that gift, that external noise fades into reverence. The throne is where you sit. That is when we are aligned. Our sovereignty of self-realization. I know who I am. I know you are, but what am I? No, I know who I am, but what are you? To sit on your throne means to return to your natural divine design. We talked about our natural state of joy. You know why you ain't in joy? Because you ain't you. You aren't tapped in and aligned to you. And when you come back and return, now you're in your natural state. Now you feel comfortable. It doesn't mean that all things just go away and you don't have problems, but you overcome those problems more times than not. They're not burdens that you don't overcome and can't get over, because you weren't put here with burdens that you couldn't overcome and get over. And yet this is what we've begun to believe, because this is what we were sold. This is what we've been told. This is what society tells us. So now you have people believing that this is what God meant for me. What? You must not. I don't know. I don't judge. We look, but we don't judge. You must not know the same person I know. Because whatever situation you are in, you can get out of. And we look a lot of times outside of ourselves and we'll say, this person has so much money. Oh my God, their life is so good. What if you found out that that person with money was in a worse situation than you? They just had money. So they could buy all these little things to distract them. They can go take all the trips, but that's why they had the money, to distract them. Because when they're alone, when they be still, they can't. So it's not the money that matters. It's not the material that matters. It's the present, the present, the present, your presence. That's the gift. That's what money can't buy. That's what is the richest of the world. And when you have it, because this is what they're really wanting to take from us to begin with. They want to affect your natural state. They want to take you off the throne. And they have done a good job at it. Guess what? You can reclaim that. It's time to reclaim that. That's why you're here. To stand up, dust your shoulders off, got a little dirty. I was down there, but I'm up now. We get knocked down, but I get back up again. And so our natural design, our natural state is where our mind, our body, and our spirit is in harmony. One of those things out of whack in your life is topsy-turvy. You might be in a gym every day, six-pack, swole, but your mind ain't right. And your spirit ain't aligned. Your life ain't good. The pictures look good, though. You get a lot of likes and a lot of follows. But if them likes and follows stop that, it gets real dark and get real quiet again. The noise keeps us comfort. And that reminds me, I remember when I first moved to the country, and by the country, I mean the South, because I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in cities where it's just noisy all the time. And I got so used to hearing planes fly over, cars drive by, gunshots, people yelling, screaming, everything. Then when I actually got to the South and it got quiet and I heard crickets and insects and when no lights around, and I'm like, I was uncomfortable. I didn't like it. No, this ain't it. This ain't it. And then after a while, over time, it was like, wait a minute. Hold on. I cherish that because now I know the difference. You can feel it when you go from chaos to comfort, chaos, war to peace. If you've been in war, when you first get peace, it don't feel right. You're not used to that. You don't know what it's like. And to my veterans, I know a lot of y'all feel that. You come back from war and it's peaceful, it's quiet. It don't feel good because I'm so used to this. I'm so going. I'm so used to all of this going on at one time. So when it actually slows down, I don't know how to deal with that. It's not that it was wrong. I had never experienced that before. Yet our natural state is when our mind, body, and spirit are aligned. We are in harmony. That's beautiful music. And so we're going to anchor in by going back to Kemet. So in ancient Egypt, they had a divine concept of, and they do still, because it still exists. Societies and cultures may go, but the teachings still remain the same. They talked about Ma'at, the principle of truth. They spoke about balance and justice, liberty and justice for all, for all. It talked about balance and justice. Now that's how you sit on the throne of divine law. To be sovereign is to live in alignment with Ma'at, truth, justice, balance. Everywhere we go, we see the same things are being said to us. How do we get there? I have not heard yet where it said, you're supposed to go out, listen to other people, do what they tell you to do so that your life can be better. No, they saying remove yourself from all of that. They didn't say it's going to be easy. Yet again, why do we not see that you're meant to make hard things easy? We want to avoid that. We're so afraid of loss and this term losers. Oh my God, I don't want to be a loser. And I'm so sick and tired of it. Every time I hear it now, it makes me cringe. That's what I'm going to war against. This term, losers. because it's blocking you from your inheritance. It's blocking you from the throne. You keep hearing people say, you're supposed to be a winner. You're born to be. Well, tell me, how are you supposed to win? How do you win? Show me somebody who just wins all their life, never loses. Where are they? They don't exist. And this is how we start developing false concepts, false identities, because we're afraid to do the thing that is needed in order for you to succeed. Want to win? Cool. You really want to win for real? Or you just want to play win? If you want to win for real, you're going to lose, and you're going to lose big. But you got to learn from that. So when I talk to you about losers and they inspire, because I am a loser, I embrace that. Why? Because it means that I love outreaching set expectations regarding self, which allows me to observe and learn in order to win. Pick them out. Go through history. Pick out the greatest winners you ever seen in your life. And we're going to see if they never lost. And actually, what you're going to see is some of the greatest winners were actually called losers. They actually had to learn how to win because they lost so much. The greatest inventions we had came from people who lost so much. Matter of fact, one of my best examples, because my generation, we grew up on cartoons, comic books, anime. You want to know the difference between a villain and a hero? They both lost. The villain didn't learn. So he became, or she became, vengeful, hateful, anger, full of rage. So now they just want to blame everybody else. And this is why they want to take over the world, because I was wrong. The hero, they were wrong too, but they learned. They learned. Go look through and find the hero that didn't lose, whose parents weren't taken away, whose home wasn't destroyed. You can't. Look through all the scriptures. Look through every book you can find and show me where there was one person that just won all their life that wasn't a loser. This is what we're going to war against, because it blocks you from your inner alignment. It blocks you from sitting on the throne. It blocks you from tapping into that divine, because it blocks you from truth, balance, justice. The truth is, you better love outreaching set expectations regarding self, not nobody else, not your neighbor, not your brother, not your sister, not your cousin, yourself. What are the expectations that were set about you, that you set, that somebody else set, that they told you couldn't do? When you start to love outreaching that, oh, you said I can't do this? Okay, boom. Or I thought I couldn't do this? Well, I'm going to push myself. Watch how you win. I talk to traders all the time now, because that's something I started doing. And that was one of the first lessons that I didn't even know. I'm going around saying losers inspire, and then I had a multi-million-dollar trader tell me, you know what, you're right. Because it's my losses that I learned from, that I was avoiding early on. Now my losses are how I win. Yet I don't look to have the greatest win percentage. I'm not trying to be 100%. Matter of fact, I have a losing trade percentage. Yet I'm sitting up. So this thing that we run from, that people tell you, you got to be a winner, and you want to be a winner so bad. This is why it's hurting. This is why you're following behind everybody, trying to hear them motivationally speak to you and tell you what to do, because you're avoiding yourself. Go to all the seminars you want to, all the rah, jump up. Hey, y'all believe. Then go back home, and then you back down like this again. Because you don't love. You don't outreach. Yet you set expectations. So when you love outreaching set expectations regarding yourself, you will never stop prospering, because you're going to give the required effort daily. And then you're going to live inspired every day. That's the lie. And when that every day becomes forever, that's the life. Again, I'm just here to remind you, this is your birthright. Yet we got to get there. And this is how we get there. And so part of the 42 laws is, I have not told lies. I have not committed sin. I have not caused pain. Yet because we have put everything outside of us, we even put that outside of us. We think I didn't tell lies to other people, and I sit and lie to myself every single day. We think I have not committed sin on somebody else, and I commit sin against myself every single day. we talk about I have not caused pain to somebody else, and I cause pain to myself every single day. So by not causing pain to them, your life ain't no better. Nor are we saying you're supposed to go and cause pain to them. But think about it. Someone who is abusing you, you leave, that causes pain to them. Because now they have no one to abuse anymore. Is that so you're supposed to stay there? We're supposed to stay in abuse so that they can have somebody to abuse? That's what's happening. You're supposed to stay small so they can feel bigger. You're supposed to stay under a boss that's incompetent so they can feel like they're a real leader. You're supposed to commit sin against the body that you're in because somebody told you it wasn't good enough. Fuck that. We talk about curse words and we curse ourselves every day with doubt, with fear, with uncertainty. We don't really know what a curse word is. If we did, we would stop doing it. And you wouldn't worry about those type of derogatory words that came from somewhere else anyway, like everything was given to you. But you can deny to me, but you can't deny to yourself. You can't deny to God. You can shake your head all you want to. And when it's quiet, oh, you're going to feel it. That's why, again, it's not about me. It's about you. I am simply putting myself out there as a guide to show you what's in you. Because I ain't had nobody to show me what was in me. I had people taking things from me. I had those advisors that wanted me off the throne so they can sit on the throne. Want you out the way so they can be in the way. And like I said, my favorite movie is Coming to America. One of my favorite scenes is when he gets to America. Let them have our princely robes. They want the seat. Let them have it. It's a seat. It's in me. Let him sit there. He's not the prince anyway. He can go and tell you all of this, but he ain't the real prince. And when you find out, oh, you're going to be mad. How come she always gets the good ones? Yes. Just let your soul glow. Tell him. So where have you, this is what we want to reflect on. Where have you outsourced your power? And whose voice have you placed above your own intuition? Took that power and you gave it outside to somebody else. Where? Find out where you have outsourced your power and begin to take it back. Find out whose voice you have placed above your own intuition and move it out the way. Discernment. And because we're not just here to talk, I want to give you something that you might be able to use, as always. We don't just talk about problems, we identify them. And then we have solutions that we can practically apply. This is called life action. So to get back to that throne within, let's give a sovereignty ritual. So the first prompt that we're going to do is we're going to name one. See, you ain't got to do 2, 3, 4, just one. One area in your life where you have struggled to trust your inner knowing. Just one area. Name one area in your life where you have struggled to trust your inner knowing. Secondly, what would it look like? What would it look like to reclaim your authority in this area? So the same place where you have struggled to trust your inner knowing, what would it look like if you did? Grab that pen. That's your staff, right? And start declaring. Write it. I reclaim my spiritual jurisdiction. Reclaim that. Maxine Waters reclaimed her time. You can reclaim your divinity because you are divine. Reclaim that. It's yours. How you going to let them have it anyway? Give me that back. It's mine. So we want to declare that I used to seek signs to validate what I already knew. Today, I honor my knowing as divine guidance. I choose to move forward in trust. I used to seek validation based off what I already knew. Now I seek first the kingdom. Why was I seeking anything else to begin with? 4, in Matthew chapter 6:22, it says, if thine eye be single, thy body shall be filled with light. Single, a clear vision, rooted in your inner truth, is going to illuminate everything. Everything, your entire being, everything. You going to start seeing things that was right in front of you And you're going to be like, what? This was there the whole time? How did I not see? It was right in front of you. How many times have you been driving down the street and then you notice something? I've been there the whole. I never even noticed that was there. I never even saw it. How can we not see things that are right in front of us? Because you don't see yourself. And it's right in front of you. I'm talking to the man in the mirror. And I'm asking him to change his ways. Nobody else, because I'm talking to him. So how many of us are talking to the man or woman in the mirror? And then how many of us are willing to ask him to change? Because we can. We put on new clothes every day. You can be renewed in your mind and have a renewed life if you so choose. So I want to remind us, though, we must be reminded that when we're talking about this sovereignty, when we're talking about people get so uncomfortable in your life, but doing this, we're not talking about controlling over nobody else. Sovereignty. You don't have to control nobody else. It's not controlling over others, but it is responsibility for your own energy and your own actions. Not blaming them and him and her and he. And it is earned through your truth, your humility, and your discernment. Because Luke 17:21 says, the kingdom of God is within you. It didn't say the kingdom of God is within your teacher, is within your brother, is within your boss, is within your influencers on social media. It says within you. Who, me? Yes, you. Couldn't be. Then who? The throne, for me, how I see it, how I've been shown, is that this throne in heaven is symbolic. This dominion is over ego, fear, and illusion. This is why we're told we can have heaven on earth. All that you want. You don't have to wait, but you can. You can, whatever you believe. I am not here to take you away from what you believe because I know you hold it so dear. I was there. I'm just telling you, go check within yourself. All you gotta do. Don't believe me. I ain't never asked you to believe me. I don't even want you to trust me. Don't trust me. Trust yourself. Tap in. Trust yourself and see what it tells you. So when we share that throne, that equals us living in that Christ consciousness. But if you don't believe it, you won't receive it. So there's nothing that I need to say to you. That's why I'm not here to preach to you at all. Because I listen to my elders. I listen to the wisdom of my ancestors. And I understand that for them, metaphorically, they are seated on a throne. They have experience. They've been through things, not because of age. They mastered themselves and they live in this harmony, the ones that I'm talking about. And we have plenty of examples of that within our own lives, within history, wherever you want to go, who have mastered themselves in harmony, spirit, and community. They have the truth, the justice. They are balanced. They are willing to share, willing to uplift, empower, and inspire. They're all in the stories. We've been talking about them. So these are the examples that show us it's possible. So when a kind proverb tells us that wisdom is like the boab tree, no one individual can embrace it. And if you've seen a boab tree, you'll understand. Ain't no one person going to embrace that tree. What, you stretch Armstrong? That's like wisdom. I can't have it all by myself. This is why it's called Wisdom Wednesday, and I want to share it with everybody else because that's how we are truly wise. I am not talking about anything that I created on my own. I told you, and I tell you again, I didn't even want to do this. If it was up to me, I would not be sitting here talking to you. Trust me. Yet for some reason, here I am. So we're going to close this out talking about our LeEF protocol, allowing us, again, to see this spiritual clarity in action, to apply it in our lives. So this is our LeEF protocol for sovereignty. Remember, LeEF is locate, engage, anchor, and propel so we can live. And to live, we have to listen, fight, verify, and express. So to locate, I feel spiritually unclear about what? That's the blank that you fill in. Remember, we're not here to tell you, we're here to show you. Within, go look. I feel spiritually unclear about. Then you're going to listen inward and fill in that blank. You're going to engage it. This fog, what you're unclear about, is strengthening my discernment. That's what it is. It's a test, a trial. An old real pass or fail. It's going to keep happening. You're going to pass. It's just win. You keep going, keep taking the test, win. Now, after a while, we're going to start. All right, now open your book. Now look, I'm going to give you hints and clues, and you're going to pass. So locate what you feel spiritually unclear about. Listen inwardly. Engage it. This fog is strengthening my discernment so that you can invite in the spiritual truth, which is going to allow you to anchor. So you're going to sit still, hand on your heart, and listen and understand that I am seated in divine authority. That I am is so important. And what follows that I am is either a gift or a curse. And we verify that by aligning with spirit. What you got? Sitting still, what you got to tell me. That is going to allow us to propel. And so as we propel today, I trust my soul's knowing by blank. What were you unclear about? Now you trust your soul's knowing because now you know that I'm going to do this. I'm quitting my job. Why? Not because Sant said it, but because I've been feeling this and they be like, I needed a sign. Well, when you get the sign, do you trust it? That's how we express with bold action. You get the sign and you act boldly. You don't question it. That's it. I got to go. Sorry. I'm gone. So as you're doing this, you're leaping to your sovereignty. You know what's going to happen? Those false crowns are going to shatter. And the false crowns that we have to shatter are seeking these gurus. There's so many of them now. You can create your own certifications. I hope y'all know that. We're seeking gurus over inner guidance. Who knew? Seeking a guru. Who knew? You had it in you. You was the guru. Maybe you sought someone to point you back to you, the mirror. The false crowns that are going to shatter, we're going to stop prioritizing trends over truth. And when we say ancestral truth, when I say ancestral truth, that's deep in you. Like the ancestors, they back there. When you think of ancestral, you think far back. Ancestral truth is deep in you. So we're going to stop following these trends because them trends change every day and you be exhausted. Boy, you be doing this dance, then you trying this, then you doing this. You just like, oh, I can't keep up. You ain't supposed to. So we're going to stop prioritizing trends over ancestral truth, that deep truth that's within us. And this last crown that's got to shatter. We're going to stop apologizing for your spiritual authority. Stop apologizing for your spirit. Stop apologizing. Damn it. That's for me too. So I wanted to apologize and appease and be like, I'm sorry that I got to do this. I ain't apologizing. I'm not apologizing for saying I'm a loser. I'm not apologizing for being inspired. I'm not apologizing for living inspired every day forever. I'm not. I told somebody that my name was I was at a event and we were playing a game. We're playing Mario Kart. And my name, if you follow me on social media, is Mr. Inspire _1295. My name was Mr. Inspire. They was like, who was Mr. Inspire? I was like, me. He said, that's bold. You got your nerve. And I was like, it is. You would rather me saying I'm uninspired. You would rather me be small than to stand tall. I know, because I used to minimize myself. And now I have more problems when I see to maximize myself, which means create boundaries. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not just going to accept anything. I'm not going to do anything. That's when you got the problem. Oh, they turn their face up. And we're not here to appease them anyway. So we got to stop apologizing for who we are. I'm sorry for, no, you are not sorry. Please stop telling yourself that. Stop saying I am and adding that curse at the end. You are not, because you weren't made that way. So who told you? The audacity. So ask yourself, what would it feel like to lead from my soul and not my ego? Ask yourself, what rule book, what playbook do I got? What rule book am I following? Is it my family rule book? Is this a cultural rule book? Is this a religious rule book that I've obeyed that stifles my inner voice? Ask yourself, what inner whisper have I been ignoring out of fear? Out of fear of being wrong? Well, if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. And the you is me. I. Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what inner whisper have I been ignoring out of fear of being wrong? Because if loving you is wrong, and I'm not apologizing for loving me, this is what I was prescribed to do. Because if I don't love me, how can I say that I love God? Am I not fearfully and wonderfully made? I gotta love me. Ask yourself, what does sovereignty sound like in my inner world? What does it sound like for you? Do I need confirmation or do I need courage? And when you are looking, asking, seeking, make sure you're going within yourself to do that. So be still. Find a quiet place, take a breath, and connect to source. Is it not funny that they tell you to calm down? And the way you calm down, you got to breathe. They tell you if you got a problem, just relax, breathe. The breath is so powerful. It connects us. And when we are anxious and disconnected, find a quiet place, be still. Ask within. Pose your question to your higher self. Because were we not told, ask and it shall be received? Do you know what you're asking for? Have you observed or do you just question? Observe. Because you might have been asking for what you received. Otherwise, you wouldn't have it. Oh, this is my lot in life. Oh, it will be. Because if you ask to be removed from that, you're going to be removed. Receive. Write what comes immediately to you. Don't edit it. Write what comes immediately to you. Because doesn't it say, my sheep hear my voice? And then act. Take one aligned micro action with what you heard. Just one. Because without acting, without action, let me say it like that. Without action, you're just acting. Who produced that movie? And cut. Because faith without works is dead. You faithful, but you don't act on it. You done received it, but you ain't not me. Oh, better act like it. Because I walk in sacred clarity. I trust in my divine design. And in closing, the life action that I want to leave you with is this week. Let's practice our sacred no with an empowered yes. We're not just going to say no, 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 no. When we saying, yeah, we're going to do both. Because remember, discernment might tell us no over here and yes over here. So we're going to practice that sacred no and that empowered yes. Because when I go against my discernment, I'm like, no. When I go with it, I'm like, yes. Thank you. So say no to something that drains your energy. Say yes to something that honors your soul's voice. I dethrone doubt. I crown my intuition. I sit on the throne of my truth. I do not shrink. I shine. I reign from within. For that throne is mine. So from one of my favorite people, my ancestor, so beautiful, this lady Spirit. I'm so thankful that I've been learning about her. And it just, last month, I came across Maya Angelou. And I known her from my childhood, but it just came back up for whatever reason. And I started reading her book and I started reading her poems. And my quote to close this out comes from her. As Maya Angelou says, step into the throne room of your soul where every answer echoes in the voice you stopped hearing, but never stopped owning. I'm going to say that again. Step into the throne room of your soul where every answer echoes in the voice you stopped hearing, but never stopped owning. I hope that hit you like it hit me. And so take away and close this out for real. To sit on your throne means to remember who you are across all dimensions, across time, space, not just as a human in a body, but as a vessel of divine design, seated in clarity, truth, and balance. Your throne is not inherited. It's embodied. Embodied. It does not come with power over others. It comes with mastery of self, love, outreaching, set expectations regarding self. because those that regard you shall reward you. And it's about you. The true throne is your inner alignment. And I hope that you find it.